Hello everyone and welcome to Sally and Bytes. Today, I am here to teach Chapter 5, Conditional and Looping Constructs Part 2, for the Class 11 students of Computer Science. In this video, we are going to discuss about the iteration, for loop, range function, while loop, and practical implementation. So let's dive in and get started. In our day-to-day life, we repeat tasks like brushing teeth, getting ready to school, paying the electricity bill, etc. Here's an example of whack-a-mole game. Pop up a new mole, hit the mole, increase score, pop up a new mole, hit the mole, increase score. This kind of repetition is called iteration. So, iteration is the process of repeating steps. In Python, iteration is the process of repeating a set of instructions or a code block multiple times until a certain condition is met. Why is iteration important? Iteration is a fundamental concept in programming that allows you to perform repetitive tasks without having to manually repeat the code each time. Now let's see an example. Write a Python program to print first 10 natural numbers. Look at the Python code. We are printing 5 times to get the output. What would you do if you were asked to print 1 lakh natural numbers? Writing 1 lakh print statement would be tedious and not the right way. So, writing a program having a loop is a better solution here. Now see the pseudocode on the right side. Step 1. Take a variable count and set its value to 1. Step 2. Print the value to count. Step 3. Check the condition, count less than equal to 1 lakh. Step 4. Increment the variable, count plus equals 1. Step 5. Repeat the steps 2 to 4 as long as count has a value equal to 1 lakh. Let's discuss about the types of loops. Python provides 2 main types of iteration: for loop and while loop. For loops are called definite loops because statements are executed for a definite number of times. While loops are called indefinite loops because statements are executed until a logical condition remains true. Let's discuss one by one in detail. Let's learn about the for loop. The for loop statement is used to iterate or repeat over a range of values or a sequence, such as a list, tuple, or string. The basic syntax of a for loop is for variable in sequence : statements in body of loop, else : statements. In each iteration of the loop, the variable takes on the next value in the sequence, and the code block inside the loop is executed. Here, variable is a variable that takes a new value from the range each time loop is executed. Sequence may be a list, string, tuple. Else statement will be executed after all the iterations of for loop, if provided. Let's see some examples for loop. Now look at the first Python code. Here, sequence can be a string. Strings are characters or text written within quotation marks. This code uses a for loop to iterate over each character in the string welcome. Here's how it works. The loop begins by initializing the variable letter with the first character of the string welcome, which is W. The loop body executes, which in this case is a single line of code, print, letter. The print, letter, statement outputs the value of letter to the console. After executing the code inside the loop body, the loop moves to the next iteration. In each iteration, the value of letter is updated to the next character in the string. The loop continues this process until it reaches the end of the string welcome. Now you can check the output displayed on the console. Each character in the string welcome is printed on a separate line, resulting in the desired output. Now look at the second example. Here, sequence can be a tuple. Tuples are enclosed in parentheses. This code uses a for loop to iterate over each element in the tuple count. Here's how it works. The tuple count is defined with the values 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. The loop begins by initializing the variable c with the first element of the tuple, which is 10. The loop body executes, which in this case is a single line of code, print c. The print c statement outputs the value of c to the console. After executing the code inside the loop body, the loop moves to the next iteration. In each iteration, the value of c is updated to the next element in the tuple. The loop continues this process until it reaches the end of the tuple count. Now look at the output on the console. Each element in the tuple count 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 are printed on a separate line, resulting in the desired output. Now look at the third example. Here, sequence can be a list. Lists are enclosed in square brackets. This code uses a for loop to iterate over each element in the list numbers. Here's how it works. The list numbers is defined with the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The loop begins by initializing the variable n with the first element of the list, which is 1. The loop body executes, which includes an if statement to check if the current number n is even. The condition n mod 2 equal to 0 checks if n is divisible by 2 with no remainder, which indicates an even number. If the condition is true, that is, n is even, the code inside the if block is executed. The code inside the if block includes the print statement, which outputs the current number n along with the message is an even number. After executing the code inside the loop body, the loop moves to the next iteration. In each iteration, the value of n is updated to the next element in the list. The loop continues this process until it reaches the end of the list numbers. Here are some key points to remember for loop. The for loop in Python is used to iterate values from range of values, strings, lists, tuples, or dictionary. Else statement is optional and will be executed after all the iterations of for loop are over. Repeated execution of a set of statements is called iteration. The loop variable contains the highest value of the list after for loop is over. Value of for loop variable cannot be defined beforehand. Let's see an example for loop. Now, look at the Python code. Python program to demonstrate for loop. The for loop is used to traverse over each character, ch, in the string hello and gets printed on separate line. Once the for loop iterations gets over, the else part gets executed, which outputs the message coming out of the loop to the console. Finally, the program exits. We shall now discuss about the range function. The range function in Python is a built-in function that generates a sequence of integers, typically used in for loops. The syntax is range of start, stop, step. Can you repeat? Range of start, stop, step. Here, start is an optional parameter. An integer number specifying at which position to start. Default value is 0. Stop is a required parameter. An integer number specifying at which position to stop. Stop value is not included. Step is an optional parameter, an integer number specifying the incrementation. Default value is 1. Here, you have to note that range function is often used in for loops. The arguments of range function must be integers. The step parameter can be positive or negative other than 0. Here, we are going to learn about Python range of stop. That is, when the user call range with only one argument. Now look at example 1. Range of 5 generates a sequence of integers from 0 to 4. Let's see how it works. Remember the syntax of range. Range of start, stop, step. In this range, only one argument 5 is given. Here, start and step value are optional parameters, only stop value is the required parameter. So, if only one argument is given, definitely it is the stop value. In this example, the stop value is 5. Here, start value is default value 0. And step value is default value 1. So range 5 generates a sequence of integers from 0 to 4, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. In this case, range 5 generates the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. It is often used in loops to iterate a specific number of times. You can see in this Python code how range is used in for loops. Always remember, when the user call range with one argument, the user will get a series of numbers that starts at 0 and includes every whole number up to, but not including, the number that the user has provided as the stop. Here, we are going to learn about Python range of start and stop. That is, when the user call range with two arguments. When the user call range with two arguments, the user gets to decide not only where the series of numbers stops, but also where it starts, so the user don't have to start at 0 all the time. Users can use range to generate a series of numbers from x to y using range of x, y. In this example, range 0, 5 generates a sequence of integers from 0 to 4. Let's see how it works. Remember the syntax of range function. Range of start, stop, step. Here, the start value is given 0. Stop value is 5. 5 is not included as we have to stop in it. And step value is not given, and hence we take the step value as default value 1. Finally, range of 0, 5 generates a sequence of integers from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, we can see an example using Python range of start, stop, that is, when the user call range with two arguments. Example 3, write a Python program to print the natural number from 2 to 15 using range function. Here, in range of 2, 15, the start value is 2, stop value is 15. So in 15, we have to stop, and 15 is not included. Step value is not given, and hence step value is default value 1. In this Python code, the for loop is used to iterate over the values in the range from 2 to 14. The loop variable I takes on the values from 2 up to 14, not including 15, as it stops at 15. Range 2, 15 creates a sequence of numbers starting from 2 and ending at 14. The second argument is exclusive, so it stops at 14. During each iteration of the loop, the current value of I is printed using the print function. The end equals blank space parameter of the print function specifies that a space should be printed after each number instead of the default new line character. This causes the numbers to be printed on the same line, separated by spaces. After the loop finishes executing, the program ends. When you run this program, it will output the numbers from 2 to 14, inclusive, on a single line, separated by spaces, as 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Here, we are going to learn about Python range of start, stop, and step. That is, when the user call range with three arguments. When the user call range with three arguments, the user can choose not only where the series of numbers will start and stop, but also how big the difference will be between one number and the next. If the user doesn't provide a step, then range will automatically behave as if the step value is default value 1. In this example, range of 0, 10, 2, the start value is 0. Stop value is 10. So, 10 is not included. Step value is 2. So as the step value is positive, we have a forward jump. Here, we jump 2 steps forward each time, starting from 0 and ending till 8. Here 10 is not included, as it is stop value. So range of 0, 10, 2 generates the values 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Here, we are going to learn about Python range of start, stop, and step. That is, when the user call range with three arguments. When the user call range with 3 arguments, the user can choose not only where the series of numbers will start and stop, but also how big the difference will be between one number and the next. If the user doesn't provide a step, then range will automatically behave as if the step value is default value 1. In this example, range of 0, -9, -1, the start value is 0. Stop value is -9. So, -9 is not included. Now, the step value is -1. So as the step value is negative, we have a backward jump. Here, we jump one step backward each time, starting from 0 and ending till -8. As the stop values, -9 is not included. So range of 0, -9, -1 generates the values 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8. Key points of start value in range function. If start value is not given, the default value is 0. Key points of step value in range function. If step value is positive, move in forward direction. If step value is negative, move in backward direction. If step value is not given, the default value is 1. Key points of stop value in range function. Stop value will not be included. Let's see another example. Write a Python program to generate the table of a number using for loop. Here you have to note that the range of 1, 11 used in this program will generate values as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I is loop control variable and will be assigned each generated value, for which the body of for loop will be executed. Now look at the Python code. This code prints the table of a given number. Here's how it works. The code prompts the user to enter a number using the input function and converts the input into an integer using int function. The entered number is stored in the variable num. The for loop iterates over the range of values from 1 to 10 exclusive, using range 1, 11. In each iteration, the loop body executes, which includes a print statement to display the multiplication table. The print statement prints the value of num, the iteration variable I, the multiplication symbol x, and the result of multiplying num by I. After executing the code inside the loop body, the loop moves to the next iteration. This process continues until the loop completes all iterations. For example, if the user enters the number 5, the output will be. The code prints the multiplication table of the entered number 5 from 1 to 10. Now let's learn about the next conditional statement, while. While statement is used to execute a code block repeatedly as long as a certain condition is true. Look at the picture. If test expression is true, the body of the loop is executed. Again, the control condition of the loop is tested and the loop continues as long as the condition remains true. When the test outcome of this condition becomes false, the loop is not entered again and the control is transferred to the statement immediately following the body of the loop. The 4 elements of a while loop in Python are initialization expressions. It initializes the loop control variable and it is given outside the while loop before the beginning of the loop. Next one is the test expression. If its truth value is true, then the loop body gets executed, otherwise not. Next one is the body of the loop. It is the set of statements that are executed repeatedly in loop. Last one is the update expression. It updates the value of loop control variable and it is given inside the while loop. The syntax of the while loop is initialization. While test expression : body of while loop. Code block to execute while the condition is true. Update expressions. In while loop else statement is optional. Here, initialization. It initializes the loop control variable and it is given outside the while loop before the beginning of the loop, while is a reserved word. test_expression is the condition to be checked for true or false value. Body of while consists of single or multiple statements. Update expressions, it updates the value of loop control variable and it is given inside the while loop. In this example we are using while loop to output the values from 1 to 5. Here, in step 1, you have to initialize the loop control variable named count equal to 1 and it is given outside the while loop before the beginning of the loop. In step 2, while loop is used to check the condition if count is less than equal to number 5. If it is true, step 3 that is body of the loop executes. That is, it prints the value. Finally, in step 4, the update expression updates the value of loop control variable count equal to count plus 1 and it is given inside the while loop. Thus the output is displayed as 1 2 3 4 5. Here is an example of using a while loop in Python to calculate the factorial of a number. The factorial function says to multiply all whole numbers from our chosen number down to 1. The factorial of any number is that number times the factorial of that number minus 1. Now look at the Python code. The user is prompted to enter a number using the input function, and the value is stored in the variable num as an integer. The variable factorial is initialized to 1. This variable will store the calculated factorial. The while loop is used to calculate the factorial. As long as the value of num is greater than 0, the loop will continue executing. Inside the loop, the current value of num is multiplied with the factorial variable, and the result is stored back in the factorial variable. This is equivalent to factorial equals factorial asterisk num. After multiplying, the value of num is decremented by 1 using num equal to num minus 1. The loop continues until num becomes 0. Finally, outside the loop, the program prints the calculated factorial value using the print function. So, when you run this program and enter a number 5, it will calculate the factorial of number 5 and displays the result as 120. Key points of while loop. The loop control variable must be updated inside the loop to avoid endless, infinite loop. In Python, the body of the while loop is determined through indentation, leaving 4 spaces. Body starts with indentation and the first unindented line marks the end of the loop. Python interprets any non-zero value as true. None and 0 are interpreted as false. At least one statement must be present in the body of the loop. Else is executed when test condition evaluates to false and is optional. Thanks for watching. Watch the upcoming videos. Chapter 5. Conditional and looping constructs. Part 3. Infinite loop, nested loops, jump statements, break statement, continue statement, pass statement and practical implementation. You can check the link in the description box below.